Alright, so now that we know how to understand the question of IELTS Task 2 writing, and we have a good idea of how to plan a coherent and accurate response, we can look at the structure of Task 2 IELTS and go through step by step with an example so that we know exactly how to write for this part of the IELTS test. Alright, so this is going to be IELTS writing task 2, structure with example. And the example that we're going to use as we go through the structure of the different paragraphs is taken from www.aehelp.com. Please visit this site for more practice and more examples, and tell us what you think. So now let's have a look at the example. Writing task 2. You should spend no more than 40 minutes on this task. Write about the following topic. In most schools, physical education is mandatory. Some people think that these classes should be optional for children. Which do you believe and why? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. You should write at least 250 words. Okay, so as we talked in the introductory section of these classes, the task 2 has minimum 250 words and it's going to be a 4-paragraph essay. Some students write 3, some students write 5 paragraphs. I strongly suggest to do a 4-paragraph essay with 2 strong points. So, 4-paragraph persuasive essay. Now you're going to have one paragraph that's the introduction. The second and third paragraph will be body paragraphs. And finally, the last paragraph will be the conclusion paragraph. Okay, so just remember, you should be thinking introduction paragraph, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and conclusion. Alright, now we're going to look at each of these paragraphs individually, and I will describe each part of the introduction paragraph, the body paragraph 1, 2, and the conclusion. So let's start with the introduction. Okay, so the introduction paragraph has 3 parts. The first part of the introduction paragraph is what we call the hook. Okay? And a hook, think about going fishing, so the hook at the end of the line that you use to catch the fish is what this means here, just like that. The hook is a statement, it's a sentence that is used to catch your reader. So it has to be something interesting or something exciting, like an interesting fact, for example, or an interesting quotation. Some teachers suggest using a question for a hook. I disagree with this. In my opinion, the essay's goal is to answer a question, so it's not a good idea to start the essay with a question. The hook should be a sentence, it should be an interesting statement. So, an interesting statement to catch the reader's attention. Okay, now, when we look at the question that we used for understanding and planning, and now we're using here as the example, we have to think about an interesting statement that's connected to the topic of the question. So the hook has to be connected in some way to physical education, to exercise, to what children learn in school. So we want to make sure that we stay with the topic of the question here. Okay, so for example, this essay we can begin as exercise has been a vital part of children's learning for thousands of years. Okay? So here we use the word exercise. This represents physical education. And vital means very important. And it's a part of children's learning for thousands of years because arguably children throughout time have been doing lots of physical exercise and have been encouraged to do physical exercise to grow up healthy and strong. So this is a good hook, and this should be able to catch the attention of our reader. There are many other hooks that work, but we'll use this one for now. All right, so this is the first part of the introduction. Now the second part of the introduction is a little bit different. Okay, so part 2 of the introductory paragraph is what we call the background, sometimes called the background information. The background is the explanation to the reader what we are going to talk about, what is the context, what is the setting, what is the definition. So the background gives the context to the reader. Now again, as we go through each of these steps, you should remember that this structure is not just for IELTS 2, but it's also the structure that is expected in university, of course. So it's very, very important that you have a very clear idea and lots of practice with this type of writing.